Hi, my name is Kevin McKnight, and in this video we're going to talk about POP3S and SMTPS. So for this video, we're going to cover POP3S, dovecot, hardening POP3S, SMTPS, configuring SMTPS on Windows, hardening SMTPS on Windows, configuring SMTPS on Linux, and hardening SMTPS on Linux. So POP3S stands for Post Office Protocol Secured and is a protocol for securely receiving emails by allowing access to a mailbox that is connected to a mail server. So POP3S is an application level protocol that is an extension of POP3 protocol of the POP3 protocol that uses TLS and SSL. TLS is transport layer security and SSL is secure socket layer. To encrypt the connections between the user and the mail server. This protocol allows the users to connect to a mail server where emails are stored for the user to access. Once the user accesses the server, they can download the emails onto their own computer so that they may have access to that information even while offline. POP3S protocols listens to port 995, and to utilize POP3S protocols, users must first install a mail server onto their system and configure it for it to be used by SSL. Because the mail drop server saves a copy of the messages stored on the server, it is important to use POP3S because it encrypts the connections and helps protect against attacks. So next we're going to cover dovecot. So dovecot is an open source POP3S mail storage server that runs on Linux operating system. So the primary purpose of dovecot is to act as a mail storage server, and the mail is delivered to a server using some mail delivery agent or MDA, and stores it for later access with an email client or a mail user agent. Dovecot can also act as a mail proxy server, forwarding connections to another mail server, or act as a lightweight MUA in order to retrieve and manipulate mail on remote servers. So the dovecot installation process automatically implements a default configuration that is adequate for setting up mail servers and running properly. However, there are several different configurations files that you can use by editing or fine-tuning the dovecot configurations. So dovecot stores its configuration settings in a series of configuration files, each of which uses the .conf extension and are stored in the following extension there on the page. Okay, so now we're going to go over SMTPS protocols. So Simple Mail Transfer Protocol Secured is what SMTPS stands for, and it is a secure protocol that is used for sending outgoing mail. So mail servers and other mail message transfer agents or MTAs use SMTP to send and receive mail messages. User level email clients typically use SMTP only for sending messages to a mail server for relaying and typically submit outgoing emails to a mail server on port 587 or 465. So SMTP is a connection-oriented text-based protocol in which a mail sender communicates with a mail receiver by issuing a set of command strings and supplying necessary data over a reliable order data stream channel. Typically, it's going to be over TCP connection. And SMTP session consists of commands originated by SMTP client, which is the sender, and corresponding responses from a SMTP server, which is going to be the receiver, so that the session is open and that the session parameters are exchanged. So now we're going to cover configuring SMTPS on Windows. So Windows SMTPS service utilizes the Internet Standard Simple Mail Transport Protocol to transfer emails between servers using the SSL and TLS encryptions. Windows uses SMTPS in conjunction with the Internet Information Service, the IIS, to communicate with other services. And we covered ISS before. It's a server created by Microsoft to collect requests and return the correct output by protocol. So the SMTPS service is a component of Microsoft IIS and will need to be configured to accept traffic on ports 465 for encryption mail to flow appropriately. So next we're going to go over some hardening recommendations for SMTPS on Windows. So the first one is that you can authenticate all access users, and also at the same time you can have a limited number of access users. There's no reason for every user on the server to have access to the service or the protocol. The next is to maintain an IP blacklist. So spam is not only just an annoying thing, but it can also be a security problem with possible phishing and malware attacks. So by maintaining a local IP blacklist on your email server, you can help a spam filter to harden your network security. The next is enabling reverse DNS lookup. And so by activating reverse DNS lookup, you can harden your SMTP server from spam and other email attacks. And then the last thing is just enabling SPF. And so SPF is a email validation system designed to prevent email spams by detecting email spoofing and common vulnerabilities by verifying the sender's email address. So next we're going to go over configuring SMTPS on Linux. So for the Linux operating system, what we'll be using is POP3S, which is an open source SMTPS server designed with hardening defaults to route and deliver your emails. It attempts to be fast and secure with flexibility in administration. It can be installed using the following command: sudo apt install POP3S. Before configuration, a couple things you should probably consider is a domain name, such as mail.example.com, a network, such as the IP address that we've been provided for our servers, a class range, and then a username. A networking class range, and then a username, and then the type of mailbox format. So now we're going to go over some hardening techniques for SMTPS on Linux. So the first one here is installing graylist. And graylisting is a method of defending an email users against spam. So a mail transfer agent, or MTA, using graylisting will temporarily reject any mail from a sender it does not recognize. The next recommendation here is to disable the verify command. And so this prevents an attacker from using the verify command to guess an email account if you were under attack or whatnot. So the next one is to set limits on different directives, such as the client connection rate the message size and the header size, and there's a bunch of different other things too. You can kind of limit those to smaller limits than what they are set at default.